World leaders and all parties to conflict must ensure that humanitarians are protected from harm as required under international law.
Well, that is the message of the United Nations Secretary General as the organization marked World Humanitarian Day. The UN has paid tribute to aid workers around the world who risk their own lives to help save and improve the lives of others.
In a statement, he paid particular tribute to women humanitarians and the huge difference they make for millions of women, men and children in urgent need in hotspots around the globe. A message reiterated by his deputy during the official observance in New York.
Thanks to their efforts, millions of people have found protection from conflict and hope itself rekindled. Colleagues and friends, losing so many of our fellow staff members and personnel all over the world is a terrible blow to our mission. At the same time, I know that you will never lose faith in the role of the United Nations, and that we will, each in our own way, remain determined to fulfill our responsibility to work for peace, development, and human rights. Those who attack the United Nations want to make us afraid, feel weak, and to retreat. Today, as we honor those who inspired us to be bold and determined to go forward.
Since 2003, more than 4,500 aid workers have been killed, injured, detained, assaulted or kidnapped while doing their work.
As respect for the laws of war weaken around the world, aid workers are increasingly vulnerable when they are more needed than ever before. Last year was the worst for violence against aid workers in 5 years, and the second worst on record overall. In 2018, there were 405 victims with 131 killed, 144 wounded, and 130 kidnapped in 35 crisis-affected countries. So far in 2019, some 156 aid workers have been attacked on the job, with 57 killed, 59 wounded, and 40 kidnapped.
World Humanitarian Day, commemorated each year on August 19th, the same date in 2003 when the UN headquarters in Baghdad was targeted, killing 22 people, including the organization's top representative to the country at the time. Also worth noting is the breadth of need that humanitarians try to reach, with more than 70 million people forcibly displaced globally. Yemen, as an example, is currently the world's largest humanitarian crisis. Nearly 80% of the total population, or 24 million people, require some form of humanitarian assistance and protection. The World Food Programme also tells us that in South Sudan, almost 7 million people, or more than 60% of the entire population, do not know where their next meal will come from. And it's the humanitarian workers, the aid deliverers, health workers and first responders who are often the buffer between life and death. Sherwin Bricebys, SABC News, New York.